everyone, it's CajunDIYDiva, and today we're going to do another beach bag. This one is going to be a scene from the French Quarter, which will be the St. Louis Cathedral, with some Louisiana irises superimposed on the front, in the foreground. So let's get started. I've already sketched a basic outline of the cathedral on top. Now this is a plain canvas jute canvas bag, and I put a piece of cardboard inside so that the paint doesn't go through to the other side. So I drew the outline, just a kind of a basic outline. I don't know if you can see it because the pencil's kind of light, on top here, and I left the bottom plain because that's where we're going to put flowers and things. So to get started, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to paint a black outline. And when I do an outline, I like to thin the paint a little bit. Sometimes I even use craft paint instead of artist paint to do an outline. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to do all the black outline first. This is usually something you would do last, but on this particular project, I'm going to do it first. So this is just painting the outline. And you know, this is a bag. It's not a formal painting like you would do on, you know, a stretched canvas. So the rules are much more loose on painting a bag. You know, it's not going to go to the edges. We're not going to cover every single speck of it. We're going to make it much looser, much less perfect. Of course, I really don't believe in perfect when it comes to painting, but nevertheless, this is going to be a very loose cathedral. If you look at a picture of the actual cathedral, there are so many lines on it and detailing in the architecture of it. Now I'm going to do just some little hands of the clock and some clock hands. Now I'm a pretty fast painter. It might take you longer than me to do this, but that's the beauty of YouTube. You can pause it, you can pause the video, you can work on your own and come back to it, or just use what I'm giving you as maybe an inspiration to create your own project. I get a lot of inspiration by things I see on YouTube. And see how simple it is, how I'm not being real fussy about how these lines are, how all these little windows are. I'm going to add some more water to my black to loosen it a little bit. And we'll just keep going. Now you see I'm not connecting these lines. See, like that one is very loose, and you'll see right here too when I do this one. Some of the lines I'm connecting, but not all of them. Like I said, it's just very loose. You see that line? It's not connecting to the edge. And after these lines dry, if you don't feel like they're dark enough, you can come back over it and paint some more. Because this bag is an untreated bag, it's not primed, so this bag is going to soak up that first paint that you put on there. So, but I think if you prime it, it will be too stiff when you want to use it. So I don't like to prime these canvas bags. And we're almost finished with this step. Okay, so that's that step. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of color in the sky while the black paint dries. So I'm going to take some cobalt blue and white, and I'm also going to add a little bit of cerulean blue to make a sky blue color. So I'm just blending these three colors together and adding a little water. And it's just going to be very loose, kind of colored in. I'm not even going to touch it. It's just kind of representing a background, but it's kind of like an abstract background where it's not touching or anything. So you see, I'm just quickly painting it on there. Oops, I've got a little black. I'll come back and fix that. When you're painting, you often have little mistakes, and I actually like to show students, because students make mistakes like this, and I like to show how you can come back and fix something. But just be careful, try not to touch the black as it's drying. Ideally, you would wait for the black to dry before you did the next step. But that's not how I do it for these videos. I'm just being brave and going out there and pushing on. I'm just going to get a little white over this black smudge and come back with some blue. And while I'm doing that, maybe I'll make some clouds in the sky. So I just dip my brush in white, and this time I'm not thinning it out, and I'm just going to dot some clouds right on there. And another cloud on this side. Okay, so there's your sky. Now I'm going to let this part dry a little bit and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. Now I'm going to paint the roofs on the chapel. So I'm going to use some Viridian green, and I am going to put just a dot of black into the Viridian green. They are very dark green. They look black, but they're actually green, these roofs. And I'm brushing very, very lightly, holding my hand away from the canvas bag. And I want it to look even a little bit darker, so I dip my brush back in black and go over that. And filling in these little side roof. These are like little dormer windows that are in there. I want you to be able to see the green, but I want it to be very dark green. And I'll come back with a little bit of black on that one, because that one came out very light, and filling in the dormers. Okay. So now I'm going to pull my picture back up that I was looking at. I am going to start with some flowers. So I'm going to use some purple. So let me find my purple. Alright, so this color's just called purple. And it's kind of dark, so I'll probably be mixing some white in with it. Alright, so to make my first bloom, I'm going to make the bottom petal, and it's just kind of a circle. It kind of is more rounded at the top and kind of comes into a point, sort of, in the bottom of it. Then I'll do my top flower. These flowers are shaped like a fleur-de-lis, and you can find lots of artwork where they turn a flower like this into a fleur-de-lis, but it does kind of have that shape. So, okay, so that's a basic shape of it. Now I'm going to mix some white into the purple and kind of fill in the center. Oh, there was a little notification on my phone. Okay, so I'm going to do one here and one here, and I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then we're going to come back and we're going to add some more elements to the flower bloom. So these are Louisiana irises. They're native to the New Orleans area, so that's why I wanted to paint them. It's also, they're shaped like a fleur-de-lis, which is very of French origins, and New Orleans has a very French influence, of course, the French Quarter. So I wanted to do a flower that kind of represents that. Let me give this one a little more dark outline. Okay, and I'll do the last one. And I'm kind of making it angle. You know, it's growing out of its own garden. And it's not sticking perfectly straight up. Now I'm adding the white back into the purple. And it really brings that purple out. And you add the white to it. It looks great. Makes that purple really pop. And I'm blending it right on this canvas bag. And I'm going to take the white and give it a highlight right in the center of each petal. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to greens again. And I am going to use this pale green. And we're going to make some stems. So I'm going to switch to a different brush. I'm using this brush. It's kind of a medium-sized round brush. And I'm going to make a stem come from each flower. And just a line. Doesn't have to be a straight line. You know, these grow in the garden. Nothing straight in nature. There we go. Now I'm going to add, they also have very spiky leaves, stalks kind of, that stick up around these flowers. Many more stalks that these flowers grow in bunches in very wet places. Sometimes they kind of bend, so we don't want them to be perfectly straight. Let's make them curve a little bit. I'm just adding several stems. There's a park right in front of the, well, it's actually the Jackson Square. There's a park in the center that's enclosed by wrought iron fences, and it has lots of gardens, and it's right in front of this cathedral. So that is what this picture is implying, that these are kind of way in the foreground of the cathedral. I'm just going to do some crisscrossy stems. Okay, so I think that's enough of the, for now, of the pale green. And now I will add a little viridian. Give it a little bit of dimension. It's a darker green. Add to some of those stems. Kind of down like one side of the stems. Just gives it a little more dimension. You know, the light shines on these and reflects lights and darks on these flowers and stems. So you want to put that into the painting and give it the feel of a garden. Like I said, these stems aren't perfect. Nothing in this picture is perfect. It's, you know, very loose because it's on this very loose canvas bag. Okay, so now that I've done the stems, the flowers, I'm going to add some yellow. And I'm going to use yellow ochre and lemon yellow. I'm going to add some lemon yellow right to these green leaves. And that really makes them pop even more. This is, the sun is catching the light on these beautiful flowers and shining. Okay, so now I think it's got enough yellow. Now I'm going to add some yellow accents right on the flowers. So now I'm just going to add a little yellow right in there. And this is the yellow ochre and the lemon yellow kind of mixed together. I'm just putting a little dab of yellow into each petal. And need a little bit more lemon yellow, and we are going to do, I'm going to use the yellow ochre to make a stamen on each one of these, and just going to kind of make little dots for the stamen of each one of these flowers. And I'm going to come back with a little black and kind of define those stamens a little more. I'll just add a little more black, a little more yellow right over where that black was. Okay, so this is pretty much it. It's just about finished. So this was CajunDIYDiva. If you like this project, if you'd like to see more videos, painting videos, please like this video, please comment, like, and share. And thank you very much for watching.